You know how it goes if you follow the AI space, right? Every couple of weeks, it feels like there's a new king of the hill. One week, everyone's talking about Claude, the next, it's all about Codex. But what if this whole AI war is just the wrong way to think about it? Today, we're diving into a much smarter approach, one where these rivals actually become an unstoppable team.
So, while everyone's out there picking sides in this sort of AI Cold War, the real secret sauce is understanding what each of these models is actually good at. And it turns out their skills are like two sides of the same coin. Think of Claude as your creative architect. It's brilliant at that big picture, high-level planning and design because it's just built for that broader context. Codex, though? Codex is your master surgeon. It's been fine-tuned specifically for code. You give it a clear, precise set of instructions, and it executes them flawlessly. And super efficiently, I might add.
Okay, so here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the problem itself, this never-ending AI debate. Then we'll introduce the solution, the dynamic duo. After that, we'll get really practical and look at the 4 key commands and 5 workflow patterns you can start using right away. And then we'll wrap it all up with the ultimate takeaway. So let's kick things off with the big picture, the great AI debate. It's this cycle, right? It's kind of frustrating. We crown a new best model, the new flavor of the month, only to see it get knocked off its pedestal a few weeks later. This whole thing isn't just tiring, it's honestly not very productive. And this is the absolute key. We've been asking the wrong question the whole time. It's not about Claude versus Codex. The real play is to use both. And you know what? The game completely changed when OpenAI quietly shipped a plugin that lets you do exactly that, creating a system that is way more powerful than either model could ever be on its own. And that brings us right to the solution. So let's meet this dynamic duo and talk about the simple but frankly brilliant plugin that acts as the bridge here. This is what enables true AI teamwork. The best way to think about this plugin isn't as a replacement for Claude. It's more like a super powerful browser extension for your AI workflow. It lets Codex literally peek over Claude's shoulder, giving you a second set of eyes. It can be a polite auditor, a really critical devil's advocate, or that master surgeon we talked about, all without you ever having to leave your Claude environment. And getting set up is so much easier than you'd think. You just install the native plugin directly from OpenAI. All you really need is a ChatGPT account, and hey, even the basic $20 plan is more than enough for the kind of auditor we're talking about here. Once it's installed, you unlock this whole new world of tools with just one simple command, /codex. All right, let's get to the fun part, the hands-on stuff. We're going to break down the 4 key commands that this plugin gives you. You can think of these as 4 different decisions you can make to pull Codex into your workflow whenever you need it. First up, we have the simplest one, /code review. This is basically your polite second opinion. You're telling Codex, hey, take a quick look at the code Claude just wrote and point out any potential problems, but, and this is key, it won't actually change anything itself. It's just a quick, non-intrusive sanity check. Next, and this one is probably my personal favorite, is /codex adversarial review. This is where you really unleash Codex as your devil's advocate. You can point it at a specific plan or a feature that Claude has come up with and basically tell it to find all the holes. It is an incredibly powerful way to pressure test your logic before you've wasted any time writing a single line of code. Now, for those times when you're really stuck or you just need a super comprehensive check, you call in the heavy artillery, Code Rescue. Think of this as bringing in the SWAT team. It tells Codex to do a complete, holistic audit of your entire code base to find those tricky blind spots or edge cases that a creative model like Claude might have missed. And finally, we have the ultimate safety net, auto review. This command tells Codex to automatically review every single piece of code that Claude spits out, every time. It sounds amazing, doesn't it? But, well, there's a pretty important catch. And here it is. This really highlights the trade-off. While auto review is unbelievably powerful, especially if you're working on something sensitive, something that's going into production, it's also very, very expensive. Every single review eats up tokens. That's the currency these AIs use to process text. So you'll want to use this one strategically, not just have it on all the time. So, now that we've got the tools, the big question is, how do we actually use them? Let's look at how these commands come together to create 5 really smart workflow patterns that put this AI teamwork into practice. So here are 5 strategies that really work. You can do things like run these reviews as background jobs so you don't break your creative flow. Or you can use it as a final, critical Debbie Downer check right before you ship your code. But the one I really want to zoom in on is number 2, the adversarial planning loop, because honestly, it's a total game changer. And eventually, you can combine all of these into one powerful full-stack workflow. Let's really break down this adversarial planning loop because it is so powerful. The process itself is super simple, but the results are profound. Step 1, Claude makes a plan. Step 2, you have Codex challenge it. Step 3, Claude takes that feedback and makes a better plan. And you just keep repeating this loop until Codex basically runs out of critical things to say. I'm not kidding, spending an hour here perfecting the plan can save you dozens of hours in debugging and wasted tokens later on. So this all brings us to the ultimate takeaway. Because this isn't just about writing better code, it's about a smarter philosophy and even smarter economics. It really gives us a glimpse into a future where AI systems are more modular. So what does this look like from a practical budget standpoint? Well, the recommended setup is actually really efficient. You'd use Claude as your main daily driver, right? That's your generator, which justifies a higher tier plan. But for Codex, since it's acting as your auditor and sidekick, that basic $20 plan is more than enough. You get the absolute best of both worlds without breaking the bank. So let's be clear. The point here isn't to tell you to switch teams from one AI to another. The goal is to build a richer, more robust system for yourself. By combining Claude's creative horsepower with Codex's surgical precision, you end up with a workflow that lets you go farther, faster, and frankly, a whole lot safer. And all of this leaves us with one final big question to chew on. As we keep moving forward in this space, maybe the search for that one single best AI is a bit of a fool's errand. Perhaps the smartest AI isn't a single model at all, but a well-orchestrated team.